Scandinavian Bob here, hi. Today I'm going to answer some reboot questions I've got either in the comment section or through emails. So let's jump in right away. Question number 1. I sometimes edge to porn, but I'm careful not to relapse so I don't bust. Do you think this will hold me back? Oh man, I hate to break it to you, but that's the biggest relapse right there. At least if you are trying to get away from the negative effects of porn or overcoming a porn addiction. Look, I don't know if your main goal is just semen retention or something else, but if you are dealing with any of the negative effects of porn, like for example PIED, poor concentration, social anxiety or depression, then yes, you are definitely holding yourself back. And edging is especially bad for your dopamine system because it's right there on the edge where dopamine is at its highest and you're keeping yourself there. So no, please don't do that. Question number 2. Does everyone go through a flatline if they start doing NoFap? No, the flatline is 100% real, but not everyone will face one. Out of those who have been watching a lot of porn, about 60% will have a flatline when they quit. This is according to a poll I did where more than 1,000 people voted. Also, it's more common to experience the flatline for those who have developed at least some form of addiction-related brain changes. Question number 3. Do you think it's possible to go back to using porn in moderation after I have rebooted? Well, I'd be lying if I told you that no one has ever been able to do so, because there are some who have managed it. However, that's a very small percentage of people. Most people who try to start using in moderation after a reboot will slowly but surely start escalating again until they find themselves in the grips of the addiction again. I personally cannot do moderation because if I start opening that door again, I get sucked in and then I have to fight like hell to get out of it again. Most people cannot go back to moderation, and this is because of the sensitized pathways we have formed. And by the way, now I'm speaking about people who are addicted to porn, not people who do not have any problems with it. Of course, it's your life and your rules, so you go ahead and try it if you like. But since I know for a fact that most people who fit the criteria of being addicted will not be able to go back, well, then I simply cannot recommend it. Question number 4. If you could recommend only one thing for lasting longer in bed while doing NoFap, what would it be? Slow and deep breathing. Not just when having sex, but the hours leading up to it as well. That will slow down the signaling in the sympathetic part of your nervous system and increase the parasympathetic activity, which will help you be able to last longer. And hey, the word slow and deep can be a useful guide for the act itself as well, if you know what I mean. Question number 5. Can supplements help with PIED? For some people, yes, it depends on the person. But yeah, for some guys, they can actually work surprisingly well. And then there are also those who get no help at all from them. My view on this is that they are okay to use during your reboot, just as long as you realize that they are not what's going to fix your PIED. Rebooting is and will always be the real cure. But yeah, I did use supplements myself during my own reboot. In fact, I have written an article where I go through and talk about the ones I found to be most helpful for me. So if you're interested in that, I can put a link to that blog post under this video for you. Just click the link where it says blog post and you'll find it there. Question number 6. What counts as porn? I mean, what should I stay away from? Yeah, good question. So the rule of thumb here is to just say no to anything in digital form that turns you on sexually. If it's not a real life person, leave it alone. Another thing I want to point out here is intention as well. If you just happen to see some explicit stuff, then that's no big deal. However, if you intentionally start seeking out arousing stuff, even if it's just pictures, then you are definitely starting to activate the same addiction pathways in your brain. So just remember, if it's not real, just say no. Question number 7. How long does the flatline last? Well, it varies for everyone, but between 10 and 70 days is the most common range. It can be even longer for some, but those guys are in the minority. And remember, then there are also guys who are lucky enough to not experience any flatline. Question number 8. I have PIED and I'm wondering when I can start dating and rewiring. Well, you can start dating right away if you want to. Being close to real life people will only help your ED. And as we all know, dating doesn't have to mean sex. But even if you go for sex, there's nothing wrong with that. However, if you go for sex and nothing is happening, then don't try to force an erection with hand stimulation just to be able to do it. No, if nothing is happening down there, then that's okay. Don't freak out about it and just keep cuddling and being close. And you don't have to worry that kissing, cuddling and fooling around will hold you back. However, if you start trying to force an erection with hand stimulation, that might potentially hold you back. If you manage to get hard enough for sex without using any hand stimulation, then don't be afraid that it's too soon to have sex. But also, most people seem to recover faster if they stay away from ejaculations for a few months in the beginning of the reboot. This is also something that is different for everyone. And so when it comes to when and how often to start introducing orgasms again, this is something everyone should be brave enough to experiment with. You see, a lot of guys find that if they start busting like crazy as soon as their PIED is a bit better, it tends to throw them back into a flatline. So I would recommend spacing out the orgasms in the beginning, but also don't be afraid to try some here and there just to see how your libido reacts. Alright, that'll be it for today. If you need help with either relapses or your rebooting, you can contact me through my coaching page. However, I'm not doing that much coaching these days. Sometimes I only take about 2 to 3 people a week. So if I'm not available, or if one-on-one coaching isn't really your thing and you'd rather do an online course to overcome your porn addiction, then check out this video right here where I talk about an online course that is growing fast right now. And that's no wonder, because it produces absolutely phenomenal results. Just watch the video and you'll see exactly what I mean.